Hi there, it's time to look at TAO through the Wyckoff lens. If you're new to my session, here are the 3 key items I'll cover during this session. So let's take a look at where is TAO heading to. This is the weekly chart of TAO. Previously, we talked about it's likely going through the preliminary support stage, meaning the early phase of the accumulation. So some of you ask me, like, why I kept talking about just the pessimistic scenario. That's why I kept this UTAD saying yes, there's a chance, but very slim chance. And now that this week has pretty much confirmed that it has entered accumulation, so we can get rid of those. Yeah, it's going to get to the distribution again, but not like immediately towards the first of the distribution. There will be another preliminary supply, and then all the way to the buying climax before the subsequent late formal activities. Of course, the LPSY and sign of weakness did not happen. So I explained when the price came down from the distribution cycle, sometimes it gets a rebound, and that's where the sign of weakness and LPSY sits. But that doesn't always happen. So here there was one, and there was another time before it actually enters the accumulation cycle. That was earlier this year in the first quarter, okay, not very long ago. So here, this is where TAO is. It's basically trying to find or set the selling climax where the panic is eventually over. So previously it was still the spirit. Not saying this week's candle is the selling climax, okay, don't get me wrong, because the volume is still not as low as to some of the earlier periods that we've seen. So it's best to have that kind of volume. If not, then the candlestick has to match with an indication of buying activity, signaling that people are getting in and maybe we're bottoming out. Okay, so currently it's still in the transition between the preliminary support to the selling climax. Let's get to the daily charts. So this currently what we are seeing, let me get rid of this. We are seeing the red support line 219, the red key level of 219, providing support over the past 2 days. Over the course of past week, after our last session, when I shared that there are multiple occasions when the ceiling of this downtrend, this light blue box, the air hockey table I usually mention, 286, the orange 254, and the red 219. There are three last week. Basically, it confirmed, after our Saturday session, on Sunday it confirmed that the first one, December 16th, is not going to happen. The trend change confirmation. You can say we still get a confirmation, just that there won't be any trend change. The downtrend is still continuing. The second one points to 2 days later, and the price already fell lower than that. And what's important over here is that when you look at the volume at the bottom over here, it's not a small volume. Those 2 days actually has volume spike. So that volume spike indicates that that's not over. The drop isn't over yet, because otherwise it would have stayed low. Currently, there's somebody buying from this dip at the red key level that I just mentioned, okay, 219. On Thursday, it didn't close below that line, finding support. Yesterday, bounced up from that white line, and today it's trying to continue to stay between the red and the orange key levels. So where it's pointing to is somewhere next Sunday, right after Christmas. That's the first opportunity. But like I said in the weekly chart, we haven't seen the selling climax yet. And the selling climax, if you have been following me for a while, this is this isn't necessarily the lowest point of the accumulation cycle. Look at what happened over here just in March, and then also here back in 2024 summer. Selling climax doesn't mean it's the lowest point in the accumulation, okay? So when we get to that point, even if it signals a sideways like trend confirmation exiting the downtrend, that doesn't mean it can't test lower, because you know the subsequent period after the selling climax is the endless, well, I don't want to use the word endless, but it's as long as the whales like, the composite man like, is the prolonged period of paper hands, diamond hands test. So I don't have a tag over here. Let's borrow this one and just adjust it. So whether we call that second test, spring, doesn't matter. They are all tests. Shake out until all the paper hands are gone. So that's the meaning of that period during accumulation cycle. All right, so that's where we are now. What if it doesn't get outside by December 28th? The next one is this, the bottom of the long-term playground zone. That's pointing towards the first week of January. All right, somewhere around Jan 3rd, Jan 4th. However, is there a chance that it goes even lower? Yes, you see this white dashed line already, right? So if I, let's do it this way. Okay, so right now I haven't extended the air hockey table all the way to that point. This line indicates where October 10th dropped to. So there was an early indication, whether that's fat finger or whether that's algorithm triggered, like trading robots triggered drop, it doesn't matter. It showed us some people are willing to get, keep selling to that level, irrespective, if the environment is bad enough. Okay, so this, if I extend the box, extend the air hockey table, that points to somewhere around Jan 9th. So you have 3 dates now. We talked about December 28th, 27th, 28th, and then January 3rd or 4th, and eventually January 9th or 10th. So somewhere around those dates, we get 3 chances for TAO to confirm, has the drop finished? This drop, not that is the bottom of the accumulation cycle, just where the selling climax is going to land. Okay, so remember these key levels. We talked about the red 219, and this one over here 183, 184, 183 is the white line. All right. Okay, so that's TAO. Thanks for joining me. See you in other sessions. I'm going to the speed run. See you over there.